Dealing with bad leadership in our 40s, it is different. Not because we're older, but because we live enough experience to understand when something is dysfunctional, when something is unnecessary, and when something is even disrespectful. We're not going to deny it. Sometimes the rank can kind of overshadow competence. And sometimes, for us in our 40s, it's even more frustrating. So, on this episode, here the real and practical way for you to navigate bad leadership without hurting your reputation, without hurting your sanity, and without hurting your career. Let's see this. The number one tip, never mind, let's go. The number one tip is first, protect your peace. You have a family, you have kids, you have plan, you have a reason why you joined the army. And the moment you're in the army, and especially at your age, like I said earlier in my old videos, in my first videos, people are gonna looking up to you. Therefore, you gotta lead by example. You're not a leader. You're not gonna lead the soldiers that are with you, but consider yourself as the oldest. As the oldest, they're gonna be looking up to you. Therefore, you gotta protect your peace. The energy that you get from leadership, don't give that same energy out. Actually, is the best strategy for you to diffuse whatever pressure, whatever tension that there is between you and leadership. Your maturity is your advantage. Remember, younger soldiers, they react. Older soldiers, they respond. Number two, in navigating with bad leadership, the second thing, if it goes out of hand, if it's crossing the lines all the time, make sure you document everything. And I'm saying document everything when you put date, time, people that were there, and anything. Always document these little things. Well, we think they are little things, but every single detail, sometimes they help in some situation. It doesn't mean that you're building a case or building a complaint. But sometimes there are situations that you're going to find yourself into. You will need to prove it, or you probably will need to remind some people of what happened. So therefore, point two, document everything. Bad leadership can be tricky. There's some situation they will trick you. Therefore, you have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to know your regulations. You have to know the rules and regulations of your job. You have to know what your job is. You have to know what you're supposed to do as a soldier. Well, as a specialist, you have to know what to do. You have to know your regulation. I already said it, because sometimes they're going to put you back on the wall and hit you with a regulation. The fact that you didn't know, that will prove somehow that you're incompetent. Therefore, know your regulations. It's something people usually confuse. People are confused about these terms. There's two things. There's two terms. There's a big difference between these two terms. Something called building alliance. Building alliance doesn't mean snitching. Building alliance is like you're building a network. You go to the people that are respected in the unit. You go to NCOs that understand soldiers better than some others, because it might happen that you have NCOs that are 22 or 23, and then you have on the other end NCOs that are 35, 36 that understand soldiers better. It might be all the way around. Therefore, you need to build a certain alliance. Alliance doesn't mean that you're going to build a coup or whatever it is, but you have to look for that little bit of understanding that an NCO might have, where in a certain situation that might be confusing with a bad leadership, well, you're just going to go to ask advice. It doesn't mean you're going to snitch. It doesn't mean you're going to kiss, but you're just building a little network so you know where to go whenever the necessity comes in for you to ask questions. And another one, lead from where you stand. Sometimes younger soldiers, they look up to the older soldiers in their unit or the platoon than their leader themselves. Because even if you don't wear the rank, they're going to be looking up to you. Therefore, be fair, be steady, be the one who listens, be the one who has an open eye for them, be a lantern for them. And here, bad leaders, they lose influence. When good leaders, they show up. Use your emotional intelligence as a weapon, not as a weapon to be beating people up, not literally a weapon. But use your emotional intelligence. At your age, you already know how to read people. You already know how to read people. You already know how to read what they like, what they don't like. You already know what will trigger them. You already know what will calm them down. Therefore, use your emotional intelligence now. The truth might hurt. Some leaders might like it. I've been a leader on my days as a civilian. I probably will go back to be a leader back then. But yeah, I was the E4 rank. I get it. There are other higher ranks than I. But leaders usually are insecure. And sometimes their insecurity can be toxic. Therefore, if you're in your 40s, you know better. Don't take their emotional issues, don't take their behavior personally. Don't take it personally. Remember, protect your peace. It's important. Know when to elevate. Also know when to de-escalate. When you elevate, it's going to affect a lot of stuff. It's going to affect a lot of points for you during your journey, especially in a unit where there's bad leaders. It affects safety if you elevate. It affects legality. It will for sure affect your career, something that you don't want. And most importantly, a point that we're going to talk about in one of the videos that I'm going to make for you, it will affect your mental health. Pick battles that matters. Sometimes it might be a personality conflict. It might be an ego issue. It might even be personal issues they have from home. Something that, not I'm saying that you got to accept sometimes, but listen, pick battles that matters, right? Choose and pick your battles. You're in your 40s. You're not there to impress nobody. Sorry. You're not 19. You're just there to finish your service, protect your benefits, protect yourself while you're pushing, maintain a certain reputation in the unit, and most importantly, stay mentally and emotionally and physically healthy. This is important. Don't get lost. You have nothing to prove. You're not competing nobody. It's understandable that at our age, we deal with a lot. Not only at the Army level, but we have a life, we have experience, we also have stuff outside of the Army that we deal with. And for this, you're not by yourself because the Army has a lot of resources. These days, a lot of soldiers go to behavioral health, and it helps them out, especially after a hard deployment or maybe issues they got going on in their families, or soldiers that might feel like they're insecure in their living area, or anything that is worth discuss with a professional. You're not alone. But first, remember that the fact that you're in this unit now, the fact that you're in your 40s and older than the other soldiers, you got the magic. Like 50 Cent says, I got the magic stick. No, you got the magic because you got maturity. You got assurance. And the good thing is you are a light, a lantern for the younger soldiers, right? So be the best you can be. At age of 40, there's a lot of advantage that you have in the unit. Focus on them. Focus on what you have. Bad leadership is just temporary. You can't go past that, right? This is your friend Dre, specialist. I'm a 92 Fox within the U.S. Army for now. Thank you for watching Frontline Focus. I'll see you on the next episode.